Hi you guys, I am Dr. Bree and I'm on the road traveling in a small apartment with not a lot of room. So I wanted to share a video with you that you could do in any amount of space. It really doesn't require any equipment, just a yoga mat. And if you want to know about my line on my yoga mat, it's all about alignment. Check the video that I'm going to link above and also in the video notes. But it just requires a yoga mat. A block, if you have one, is really, really handy, and I don't have one. So grab yourself a block if you have one, or a stack of books even, and you may need a wall. So this is a stretch and strengthen routine that's safe for prolapse, it's safe for diastasis recti, it's really safe for anybody. Just go at your own level and only do what feels good to you. But I'm gonna walk you up through a flow that's gonna stretch and strengthen the deep core muscles with a real focus on the hips. Now, we're going to be working into half moon pose, Ardha Chandrasana. This is a fairly advanced yoga pose, so if you're new to the practice and new to this pose, I recommend doing it up against a wall. It's going to give you a really good sense of your alignment. So let's get right into it. Now we're going to begin, this is a warm-up, but it's actually preparing us for the rest of the routine. So we're going to begin by warming up our feet. So your feet should be pointing outward, 45-degree angles away from each other, heels touching. So zip up through the front of your core, lengthen through the back. Come up onto your toes, and keep, the whole time we're doing this, keep your heels glued together like you have a $1 million bill. Is there such a thing? You have money, paper money, between your heels. Keep them really tight. That's gonna help activate that midline of your legs and thighs, and it's really gonna help pour into a strong and toned pelvic floor. So lifted through that midline. So in this position, bring your knees outward over your toes without letting your upper body pitch forward, okay? So you're nice and tall and lifted, your knees are out over your toes, and then come up with your legs, straighten your knees, and then down with your heels. Here's the move all together. Up with your heels, keeping the heels together, out with your knees, straighten the knees, and down. Up with the heels, bend the knees, straighten the knees, and down. Keep going. Up, bend, straighten, and down. Feel this working your thighs, your hips, your inner thighs, your pelvic floor, really working all of those muscles that feed into the pelvic region. Keep going. You're also challenging your balance, which you will need for half moon pose, which is the pose we're working up to. I want you to breathe steadily. Keep going. So again, we're strengthening our hip muscles and our thigh muscles and our booty muscles and everything. We are working on our balance and we're warming up our feet. It's really important to know that there is a foot and pelvic floor connection. You want your feet to be nice and mobile and strong, the tissues to be mobile and strong in the feet, because the fascia that starts in the feet, the plantar fascia, connects all the way up through the back line of the body to the pelvic area, and the pelvic floor muscles feed into that same general area. The entire body is connected. So it's really important to remember that. You can't be stiff and tight in one area, and many of us are stiff and tight in our feet and expect to have fabulous, supple health in another area. Keep going, let's do 3 more. Still lifted through the front, lengthened through the back, and still breathing. Do not ever hold your breath. Last one, up with the heels, bend the knees, straighten the knees, and down. Okay, shake out the legs, let it all go. You should be starting to feel warm through the legs. All right, so we're gonna go right into our routine, our flow that is building up into a strong booty, strong hips, and that Ardha Chandrasana half moon pose. So again, have your blocks handy at the front of your mat if you have them. Lift through the front, lengthen through the back. Left foot is in the left lane of your mat on the left side of the line, if you have a line. Right foot is in the right lane. Now, you are going to make sure that your pelvis stays level as we go into crescent lunge. So bend deeply into your front knee and make sure that your knee is also in the left lane and not coming on over into the right lane here. So your knee is right above your ankle on your left side and your pelvis is level. So wrap your left sit bone underneath your hip, and this right hip, you might need to lift it up a little bit. Often what happens in this move is I kind of am doing this without meaning to. So you might need to lift your right hip up just a little bit, your hip joint right here, lift up so your right pelvis lifts, wrapping that left sit bone underneath, coming up onto your toes of the back leg, knee over ankle, and again, sink down. Lifting through the front, slightly lengthening through the tail, and then lift your arms up. This is crescent lunge pose. Now, if you want to add a slight back bend, go ahead. Think of lengthening and then reaching your heart up toward the sky. Take a deep breath. One more deep breath, sinking a little lower into the lunge. And now you're going to bring your hands down toward the floor. Step that back foot up and then up into the air. Come up, floating into hands on hips, warrior three. Now lift that low belly away from the floor. So that area right above your pubic bone, lift the belly muscles right there away from the floor. You're gonna reach that right leg back toward the back of the room, toes pointed down toward the mat. This is where it's really handy to have a block up on the high height, the tallest height, just for a minute, so you can look down and see and make sure that your toes are in the right position. You want your toes pointed down into the right lane of the mat, not way out to the side, not in, straight back. Left foot in the left lane, right foot pointing down into the right lane. Again, hands on hips, lifting through the standing leg, lengthening through the back leg, lifted through the low belly, and holding it. Your arms can be behind you or stay on your hips, or they can reach out in front of you, whatever feels good to you. If you have to touch down, that's okay, just come right back into it. Pelvis is level, not open like this, it's level with the hip points pointed down toward the floor. And one more breath in and out. Now touch down. This time again, hands up on blocks if you have them, or down on the floor if you have that flexibility. Pelvis is still level, facing down toward the floor, not open. So 10 times, touch down and lift. Down and lift. Abs are pulled in. You want to breathe with this. Breathe steadily, never hold your breath. 3 more, 3. You're in the ball of your foot, not too far back. Last one here. Okay, lift it up. And you're getting tired in this leg, I know, but we're gonna move into the half moon pose. So, left hand goes out just a couple of inches, ultimately on a block. Something nice and high that is stable. You are going to place your right hand on your hip, and you're going to open the hips. Your foot on the left is still pointing straight forward, just on the left of your line if you have one. Arch is lifted. Your right foot, your hip is opening, so your right hip is stacked over your left, and your right leg is going straight out, pretty much directly over the line in the center of your mat. Okay, that hip is in a neutral rotation, the ankle is flexed, and you're opening through the heart. Think about pulling the low belly in, kind of cat spining your low back, like a little C curve, a little bit of a pulling in of the belly button. And now this is one that if you can do this against a wall, that might be a good idea, especially if you're a beginner. It's also a great way to feel the alignment. So you feel how much you really need to kind of open your heart, lean your head and heart back just a little bit, and really bring that leg straight back. It tends to want to drift forward. We don't want that to happen. We want it straight back. Now, if you can, open the arm, lift toward the ceiling. Keep your gaze straight ahead at me, or you can also look toward the floor, or you can look up toward your hand. Stretch through your fingers, stretch through your heel. One more breath. And down. Oh my gosh. Bend the standing leg slightly and pull the lower belly in and exhale, knee to chest. Inhale. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhale. 3 more times. Knee to chest, pull belly in. Knee to chest. Last time here, knee to chest. Straighten it back and then come down so that the the right knee is right behind your left foot. So you're coming down, you're gonna sit on the floor, you're in a nice twist. So my left foot is right here, my right leg is behind that left foot. So you're in a twisted position, you sit up nice and tall, and you're gonna hug. So right arm hugs around the left knee. Lift up nice and tall, inhale, and exhale, twist, looking over my left shoulder. Inhale, and exhale, belly button to spine. Now, release that. Roll out the ankle on that standing leg, which was the left leg. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So keep going here, rolling out that ankle. You should really be feeling that in your calf. Maybe bend and point your foot. And we are going to stand up. So carefully come up. Walk your hands forward. Bend your knees. Lift your bottom toward the ceiling, bending one knee at a time, stretching out the whole back side of the legs. And then bend both knees and round it up one vertebra at a time. All right, shake out the legs, other side. Stretch and strengthen, hips, working into that half moon. So now we're gonna bring right foot on the right lane, left foot in the left lane into the crescent lunge. Bend deeply into that right knee. You're gonna wrap your right sit bone underneath you, and you might need to lift your left hip up just a little bit to make sure that this isn't happening. So wrapping the right sit bone underneath you, lifting up the left hip, lifting through the low belly, lengthening through the spine, sinking down into the pose. And here we go into crescent lunge. Arms up. Deep breath. If you'd like to add a little bit of a back bend, go ahead. And now come forward, touch the ground with your hands, and step that left foot forward, strong through the right leg. Lift it up through that right leg, and left leg goes straight back into warrior 3. Remember, your toes are pointed down toward the mat. They're on the left side. This foot is straight forward on the right side. Long and lifted through the leg. Hold it steady. Lift your low belly, that lowest band of abdominals, lift upward and hold it here. Warrior 3. Strong and steady. Do what you did before with your arms, or maybe try something new. Maybe you want to try your hands back, or you want to try your arms forward. The key is to really lengthen through this lifted leg and keep your pelvis level, so you're not opening up right now. We're keeping the pelvis level so that the hip points are pointing down toward the mat. Lengthen through that back heel. One more breath. Abs in. And now touch down. Again, this is where blocks can be really handy. So hands up on blocks to bring the floor a little closer to you if you don't have the flexibility. Let's 10 times touch down, nice and controlled. 10, strengthening this butt cheek right here. 9, keep breathing. 8, 7, breathe steadily. 'This time bring the leg up and we're gonna go into our half moon. So right foot is pointed forward, right hand moves outward a couple of inches, ultimately on a yoga block. I don't have one, but ultimately a block or a stack of books. Now, left hand to the left hip. You can always do this with your back against a wall for more stability and balance. Open up that hip. I'm sorry, my back is toward you. Your top leg is going straight back. Foot is flexed. It should be tracking over the line. Keep this foot pointing straight forward. Your bottom foot pointing forward. Your top ankle flexed. Open through that hip. Pull low belly in, cat spine the low back just a little bit, open the heart, possibly lift that upper arm, spreading out the finger, opening like starfish, lifted through the standing leg. Such a great total body strengthener. One more deep breath. And then top hand down and slightly bend that knee, pull the low belly in and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Knee to nose. Two more times. Pull that belly in, exhale. Last time here. And now, left knee goes behind right foot, sit down and lift. Hug your left hand or arm around your right bent knee. Inhale, lift. Exhale, look over your right shoulder. One more. And look forward. Shake out those legs. You're going to circle around the right foot and ankle on that standing leg that we just worked so hard. Go the other direction. Flex and point at your ankle. And then feet down. You're going to come on up carefully, bending one knee at a time, stretching out the back of the legs. Again, blocks you can use. And bend your knees, round it up one vertebra at a time, all the way up. Roll out those shoulders and end with some total body, hands behind head, hip circles. So circle your hips on the floor like you're drawing a circle on the ground beneath you, opening up your chest, opening up your heart with your elbows pointed out to either side of the room. It should feel really good on your upper back. You can feel your shoulder blades kind of drawing together, and your heart is opening, your chest muscles are stretching, and then you're getting all that juicy movement in your hips and your core. Go the other way with your circles. Again, it's like you're drawing a circle on the ground beneath you. Breathe steadily. Just feel good. Be proud of yourself for this stretch and strengthened flow where you worked up to Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. that is a difficult pose. So be proud of yourself if you did it. If you needed a wall for balance, that is totally fine. If you needed blocks for balance, that's also fine. But give yourself a pat on the back, for real, right now, do it. Pat on the back, and know that if that was too much, then I do plan on hosting on YouTube a beginners yoga series, yoga for pelvic health, but for beginners. So this was a more moderate level. If this was a little too much for you and you want something that's a little bit more paced, a little bit easier, that gradually works up, then keep your eye out for that. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. And until next time, remember, eat clean, move every day, and you will shine brighter. I'm Dr. Bree, and I'll see you next time. Bye.